Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Love every time we get together with her because we get so much insight on what our living spaces can look like. So many different ideas. We've gone through the bathroom. I believe we touched upon the kitchen at one point. Today, accessories. How to accessorize your home, living space, maybe even your workspace. Truth be told, I don't even know where we're going with this. I don't even know what counts as an accessory. I really don't know. I'm trying to do like a visual. What's an accessory? Paper towel rack? I don't know. She is Marcia Moore. She's a fantastic interior designer, and she's back with us. Hi, Marcia. How you doing?
I am doing great today.
So do you want to just show us what the accessories are, or do you want to tell us before you show us?
I want to talk about it a little bit first, and then I'll show you some pictures.
Sure. What's an accessory?
So
I'm not talking about in a crime. There's an accessory. No, this is not different type of accessory.
Could be, you never know. So an accessory is all those little things that you put around your room that are finishing touches that make it look like your home. You've bought all your furniture, you've painted your walls, put in your lighting, everything's there, but you've got a blank mantle or your coffee table doesn't have anything on it. Those are where you put accessories, art on the wall, that all of that stuff is accessories. And it's very easy for accessories to become clutter, to look nothing but like clutter around your room. So one of the most difficult things for people to do on their own is to make that clutter look nice. Make all those accessories look like they're purposeful, like they belong there, they're put there for a reason, and that makes it where your guests want to look at them, and it's pleasing in the room and makes it feel like home. So that's one of the things that I love doing at the end of a project. We will bring in all kinds of accessories that we've purchased from. Sometimes it's just from Home Goods, or sometimes it's from a high-end vendor that we have. But we bring all those things in, sit them around the room, and the clients inevitably end up purchasing a lot of that because it just made the room look so finished. It's like the jewelry that you put on after you've figured out your clothes for the day. So things that can be accessories are if you have a collection. Some people collect little objects, collect different things. That's accessories. Paintings or family photos, candles, pottery, sculptures, all of that kind of stuff are accessories. So one of the biggest thing to do is to figure out how not to make it look like clutter. So
I never thought that pictures would count as an accessory.
Yeah, it's one of the final things you put into a room to make it look finished and like home.
So when I hear the word accessory, based on what you're telling us, it's almost as if the accessory is the finishing touch. You know,
Correct.
There's one final, like the cherry on top of the sundae. There's one final thing.
Correct.
But then sometimes these accessories can be your stuff, but you need to make it look like it's not. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're a book collector, I mean, people who love books and have bookcases, inevitably they look horrible because they just stuff all their books in there, and then you have a couple of little, of family photos or whatever, and arranging a bookcase to look pleasing is an enormous task. It's something that I'll bring in a helper with me, and we'll spend the entire day cleaning everything off, putting everything back, adding things in, and it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work.
Well, let's walk down the accessory road.
Okay, so with a couple of ideas, I don't have pictures for these, but a couple of ideas for people who collect things. There's inevitably people start giving you when they know you collect, they'll give you that item, and you get way too many of them. So one thing I tell people is to make 4 groups out of all your collectibles. 4 different piles, and then you put one pile in the spring, you put another pile in the summer, you change it out for fall, you change it out for winter. So you get your accessories are corralled like into a china cabinet or something, and you get to see them all, but they don't ever get stale. You get to change them out and look at all, and there's not too many in the room. So That's one of the same with family photos. When you put family photos all around, you've got a couple on the mantle, on a side table, on the coffee table, they're just everywhere. They become clutter and nobody looks at them. But when you create a wall in your hallway or up your stairs where it's all family photos and people come over, they'll go, oh, that's what Susie looked like when she was little. That's so cute. And there she is a little older. It becomes something that everybody stops and looks at and it's fun rather than it just being clutter in your room.
So does that mean you should choose those photos with some intention, not just, I just put a family picture up.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a distinctive
Mhm,
pictures that I like to say have an element of art to them. They're a family
correct.
picture,
Yeah.
but the way it looks, maybe the sunset, whatever it might be.
Or if you've got your kids' pictures from school every school year, some of them don't look very good. Your kids didn't always take great pictures every year. I know mine didn't. So, you
Hmm.
maybe have three of them out that are really good photos of that child as opposed to all of them lined up. So
I got you
that
with
kind of
that.
thing.
Yeah, let's be
Yeah.
honest. We're
Yeah.
being very brutally honest here. There's some fantastic years, and there's some like no,
Yeah.
or start from very young, middle to older, and the progression, as opposed to like, let's say they were in seventh grade. Yeah, so there's sixth grade, there's seventh,
Right.
there's eighth. They're going to look at kind of the same, kind of the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now I got to figure out how to share the photos.
Yeah, don't fail me now. I got to see this.
Okay, I can't find the whatever I'm supposed to be doing to share it. There
Hmm.
it is. I got it. I
Oh,
had you as a little tiny thing. Share.
oh, there we go. Okay, great.
And I got to get to the photos now. There we are. Okay.
That's a wonderful accessory.
Isn't this
I
room
love the way that
beautiful?
looks. For those that are listening to the audio part, it's an empty room with some carpeting. Nothing.
This
There's nothing
this
there.
is a before picture of
Ah.
my current dining room. Actually,
Oh.
it was the living room, and I turned the living room into a dining room because I needed a big dining room, and I didn't need a big living room and a big family room.
Oh wow. Okay.
So what you're seeing here is sponge painted wall and ugly old carpet. So I just wanted you to see the before and then show you the progress of the room.
I tried the sponge painting once.
It's hideous.
It it looks when done right, and I don't know if it's still a trend.
No,
This
it's
is
not, thank God.
because this is going back to like 20, probably 2012-ish, maybe somewhere in that territory, maybe a little bit before that. Um, Forever tried to nail it and then tried different colors.
hmm
There was a lot of expense and effort that went into that, and I just wound up painting the wall. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. So what do we got now?
So I have a whole bunch of art that I've collected, and I had a big, huge blank wall. So I was going to do a gallery wall of art. So I wanted the wall just to be a blank canvas. So the
Cool.
walls and the ceiling are all painted my favorite shade of white, which is called Snowbound by Sherwin-Williams. And a little tip here, when you don't have interesting molding in a room, and it's not something you want to highlight, what I did in here, in mid-century modern homes, they just had this little tiny molding at the base. It's not anything interesting at all. So it's painted the same color white as the walls. It's flat white paint, and I put that exact same thing on the molding. I put that exact same thing on the ceiling. So the whole room is just cocooned in the same color white.
Interesting. Interesting. I
When
would think I'm so programmed to use a semi-gloss on the molding
On the trim, yeah.
on the
Yeah.
trim.
Uh-huh.
Um, could you use the same color in a semi-gloss?
You could, and I do that too. When it's interesting trim, I'll use that same color in semi-gloss or satin on the trim, either eggshell or flat on the wall and then flat on the ceiling. So what everybody
Hmm.
does is they go to Home Depot or somewhere and buy gallons of ceiling white, which is the god-awfulest color of white in existence. So I don't ever like to use ceiling white. I choose a white color that goes with the walls. So little tip there.
Interesting. Why did we meet a long time ago? What, Oh,
Your next house is going to be perfect.
well, I'm manifesting it. It's coming soon, once
Yeah.
the interest rate goes down, it makes sense. But
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but uh when you think about, and I'm pausing here. When you think about the effort to paint this, it's hard enough to paint the ceiling. It
Hmm.
requires, it's a sizable amount
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah.
Um, that's not as easy as, one thinks. You got to get, good coverage, but then you also have the cut in around the
Hmm.
wall. My
Correct.
gosh, if your ceiling is the same color as everything else,
No cutting in. Yeah.
makes life so much easier. All right.
Yeah.
So, final question on that.
Okay.
Let's say you've got an adjacent room and it's a white ceiling and you're happy with the room. You don't want to, not going to change it up. But now you're in this room
Hmm.
and you're like, I don't want to paint the ceiling and like get the paint and I'll cut in all that. Is it okay to have those two rooms next to each other with different ceilings?
Yeah, nobody's really going to notice it, because you have some kind of a wall above a door in between. If there wasn't any wall between the two rooms, it would be the same ceiling. So then you'd have to paint it. But
Okay.
as long as there's a wall in between, you can get by with it. And when in a year from now, when you're ready to paint that room, then you do the ceiling. Yeah.
Well, I have a friend who was redoing things, and I helped them paint one room, and that was in the spring. We let the summer go by just because you're busy and everything. And she's like, "See the spackle on the wall?" I'm like, "We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that."
Yeah.
But now I'm gonna change it up and say, "Why don't we just paint everything the same color?"
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. And then you have a blank slate and everything else in your room just stands out perfectly.
Final question.
So,
I'm sorry, it's another one flicked in
okay.
my head. Is I've heard this done, but I want your opinion. If it's not a lighter color for the walls, is it okay to paint the ceiling the same color as the walls? Like call it a medium
Oh,
shade of gray.
yeah, yeah. I'm actually going to do that in my media room, which is used to be the dining room, small dining room across the hallway from here.
Mm,
That's going to be a real deep, rich, reddish brown on the walls and the ceiling, and one wall is going to be wallpaper. But yeah, so
mm,
it's a little hard to make it look good. You really have to think that through. But yes, it's totally fine.
mm. All right. Well, since I'm helping paint, pretty much doing all of it, I will be texting you before this commences. So Marcia said
Text
it's
me, send me pictures. Yeah.
she's the expert. She says it's okay. All right. So now we've got this room, we've got the art
Yeah,
lined
so
up.
I put in hardwood flooring rather than that ugly old carpet.
Hmm.
I already had this beautiful rug, which I just love. It's an art from the Art Deco era. It's about it's like from the 20s. And this is where I want to do my gallery wall. So these were all the pieces of art that I was thinking about putting up there. And this is the gallery.
Wow. Hmm.
Um, so the table, I don't ever have to put the leaves in and out. It fits. I have three leaves. They're all in all the time. I can actually get more chairs around than what I have now. But so this shows all those pieces of art here. The one on the very right that you can't see all of. I think you can see that in the next picture. Yeah. That's from a local artist. The two next to it are very traditional, whereas nothing else in here is real traditional. The painting of the horse is something I got from California. And then I've got a poster of Spain and a couple of little nothing things, another poster that I've had for years and love, and then some more real art from local artists. So,
Wow.
and down here on the floor is one of my best pieces of art. That's Isabel.
I was just going to say, wow, your rug has it looks like there's a cat on the
Yeah.
print, on the design. Wow.
So I did this whole wall of art, and as I get more art, if I get little pieces, I can add more in. I have lots of room to add more. So that can just be this wild, crazy art-filled wall from floor to ceiling if I want it to be.
And I try to visualize, I'm looking at the screen here without the art. Um, it adds so much. It's almost like painting the wall. It's almost like
Yeah.
doing something to
Yes.
the wall.
Hmm.
Um,
You
it's
can, you can
very
get the same effect with a wallpaper too. If
right.
you don't have art, just find there's some really awesome wallpapers out there now that would look, some of them are like murals. you know, so it's like you've got a whole mural on your wall.
Hmm. How did you, before you put the art up on the wall, did you lay it out on the floor? Did you
I
draw it?
did. Yeah, I
Okay.
laid it out on the floor. Yeah. And
Wow.
then I have a guy who does nothing but hang art for a living. So he came over and hung it properly. So there are not 5 holes behind each one of those pieces of art like there would be if I did it.
That's me. I look at it this way. Nobody's going to see that. I'm in a office building and I have a big screen TV on the other
Yeah.
side of the glass. Excuse me. Uh, don't look behind there.
So accessories, there are candlesticks on this table.
Mm,
And they all have black candlestick holders, and they're all different colors, which goes with the very colorful theme of the room.
yeah.
On an everyday basis, I have them stretched out like that. They would also look good bunched up. If I have a big group over to eat, then they go on a sideboard off the table because they're kind of in the way. But so that's one thing you can do with candlesticks.
It's
And
amazing.
they wouldn't all have to be the same size candles too. It could be bigger candles or little ones or fatter ones. So,
Interesting effect because it's a pop of color.
mhm.
Every candle is a different color. Um, you have so much color within the art on the wall. You could have picked any color for the candlesticks, and we would have it would have matched in some way. I'm
Right,
sure. You know, we
right.
got pinks, we got yellows, we got orange, we got greens, blues, all of that. But cool effect. What would you? I hate to label things, but curious. Um, the style of the design of the room, the furniture overall.
It fits, it's really kind of eclectic, but it fits modern farmhouse more than anything else, I would think.
I got you there. And what speaks to me in terms of the farmhouse is the backs of the chairs
Uh-huh.
and a little bit of the rug.
Yeah, the rug is definitely Art Deco, but it all blends together.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
very cool.
on this end wall, I have cabinets that house all my good china and glassware and everything, which is also artfully arranged, but I don't have a good picture of that. So
So this was a living room. You
yeah,
turned
so
into a
it was
dining room.
you walk in the front door, on the left is the living room, on the right was the dining room, and behind you is a kitchen and a family room. And dining rooms inevitably are too small. If you entertain a sit-down dinner kind of entertaining, the dining rooms in most old homes are not big enough unless you have an enormous home. So, and we the way we all live now, we don't need a formal living room and a family room. So I've done this numerous times where I flip-flop the rooms and use the big living room that never gets used as a dining room, and then you've got a cozy little sitting room, or that's where I watch TV. That's my media room, and it's just a cozy little room. So
Hmm,
I do that all the
yeah.
time.
And you recently moved in a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's been 4 months now.
Wow. Wow.
So this is the only room that is even remotely done. If you notice, there's nothing on that window. I need to do window treatment, and there's no chandelier, so there's no lighting in this room, except for when I bring
Wow.
lamps in when I'm having a dinner party. But
The the cabinet, china cabinet, whatever you want to call that, was that
mhm.
there or you put that in?
No, it's just individual pieces that I bought off of Wayfair of all places, and had a guy from TaskRabbit come and put it all together for me. It was an
Wow.
enormous undertaking.
Oh, I could imagine, but it looks like it's so.
It looks built in, and yeah, they're not fabulous quality. They're not going to get used a lot. It's not
Right.
like kitchen cabinets, but yeah, they're perfect there. So
Um, Curious, not including install, what do you think a wall unit like that would cost?
I think I think it was between $2,000 and $3,000. You don't see all of it. There's more of it that's not shown.
Sure, sure. Yeah, but it definitely makes a statement and
Hmm.
it turns it into from a room to now looking like a dining room.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Ah,
So
and it
next,
matches. It has that little, modern
yeah, it
farmhouse
just
feel.
hmm
So
Okay,
cool.
next we have a client of mine. So this is a lower level that we totally remodeled because it got flooded. So we had to gut everything and redo it. So this part of it is there's a fireplace. We just painted it all so that it was one color, and then added a living area. And then I've got pictures of other areas. So accessories in here. In by the door, there are greenery, which is a great thing to add into rooms. It makes it feel very fresh and biophilic and all of that.
Sure.
So one of the things you want to do with accessories, and let's go back to my pictures for this. You notice how it's not all even. You go up and down, and so your eye is looking at one, it goes up, it goes down a little bit, it goes back up, it goes down. That is what you want your eye to be able to do. You never want your eye to go straight across because it just blanks into the corner of the wall. So your eye needs to have that up and down interest and then at some point it needs to be able to rest. So you have to have something that's blank. You can't just have accessories everywhere on the wall and no blank space. Your eye has to rest. That's what makes it interesting.
Wow.
So that, and then I love this little coffee table. It's got feet.
It's got like dog feet, cat feet.
So here's a good tip for decorating or for accessorizing. It's called the rule of 3. In design, odd numbers work better than even numbers. For whatever reason, they do. So if you're going to put something on a coffee table, a tray is a great way to corral the things that you need on a coffee table. So you start with a tray, you put in a little box, you put in some coasters, and you've got 3 items. If that seems a little bare to you, you've got a big, huge coffee table and you need something else, then you add 2 more items. You don't add 1 more item so that it's 4 things, you add 2 so that it's 5 things. So those odd numbers just seem to work better. And different heights, different textures, different sheens, different colors, that's all different ways that you can make it interesting.
I love that table.
I do too. That's one of my favorites. We put a piece of glass on top of it so you can put your feet up and not ruin it. Another trick you can do on any surface that's level.
I never thought I would like that, but that type of I don't know, I can't even describe it, but it's got an element of fun.
Yeah, decorating does not have to be serious. It should be fun.
Yeah, and people are going to talk about that table, you know?
Yeah, everybody does. It's a conversation piece.
Sure.
So behind that sitting area is a workout area, and I wanted to delineate the workout area from the rest of the area. So we made a different floor. All of this flooring is luxury vinyl. So the workout room looks like it's concrete, but it's vinyl. And then the rest of the flooring is luxury vinyl plank. So it looks like it's hardwood. So even in a workout area, we have two pieces of photographs that just dress up that wall. There was a blank space on that wall. So those are by an awesome photographer out of New York named Petro Kublis. If you go to his website, everything he does is very ethereal like that. It's just great photography. I love his stuff.
Wow. I'm drawing a blank on what they're called. The not the headers, but the footings. I love the fact that there is some decorative molding at the bottom of them. So they don't, it doesn't look like a basement. You know, it's got a little style to it.
Yeah, and we painted them darker. We painted them the same thing that the fireplace is painted so that they stood out and you know, looked interesting. Keeping going around the room, it's a juice bar by day, a wine bar by night, a kitchenette when you need it.
Oh, cool.
So again, got 3 pieces of art, and one of the things you can do with art is make sure that it relates to the area of the home. These are pictures of drinks that would have little umbrellas in them, kind of drinks. So they relate to a bar. So again, in 3s, we've stylized this for the photo shoot. I wouldn't have a bunch of cans sitting out like that, but for every day. And then on one wall is some shelving. So again, 3 things up here on the top, pieces of greenery, fake greenery, because you wouldn't be able to keep real alive. 3 things on this shelf, something to tell you to relax, have a drink. 4 up here because that's what we had is 4 glasses and that looked fine. But
this room, this area, the whole thing speaks to me in terms of the style. So I want to call it, it's a little more modern. maybe a little minimalistic, but I
Yes.
really do love the wall shelves where you have accessories. So you have the glasses, you have a couple of plants up there. That it's stainless steel, just like the
Yeah.
appliances.
Yeah. Just yes.
Woof, cool
So,
effect.
and you notice there's a different floor in here too. So this is
Sure.
another vinyl, but it's much more interesting. It's like an area rug in your kitchen. So,
And we're out of time. I want to keep going. This is so much fun. The three stacked paintings that you had there
uh-huh.
by the window. Interesting arrangement, number one, but number two, where you placed it on the wall. You could have put it higher. You could have put it lower. I don't even know how to describe. Maybe it's eye level. I'm not sure. What was your reasoning where you put it?
I have to eyeball where I place things on the wall. Everybody always hangs it too high. Everybody. So I eyeball it, and I don't know how to explain it. The rule of thumb is the center of a painting should be 5 to 5.5 feet off the ground, but that only holds true if there's nothing around it. Otherwise, you have to eyeball where it looks best. I'm
Wow.
going to quickly go through some of these photos. Then the pool table room on the other side
Mm,
of the fireplace. It's where you can eat, you can play cards, 3 light fixtures hanging down, 3 things on the table. All this art is paintings of famous golf courses like Pebble Beach. They are really into golf.
nice.
3 things on this table, a grouping of 3. So that's the pictures.
Mm.
But
Amazing. There's so much going on in that downstairs living space. Would this be the basement?
it is the basement. Yeah, it's a walkout basement, but it's a basement.
So
And it was before, it was all heavy wood paneling, the big, huge traditional bar. It was, like a man cave.
yeah, yeah, this
So,
really shows your talent and style in what you did. This is almost like 5 different rooms. You know what
yeah,
I'm
it
saying?
really, and that's where, yeah,
Yeah.
we planned it that way.
Yeah, it's like we went from kitchen to workout area to sitting area to cozy fireplace.
Yeah,
Uh,
too.
I see where the water may have come in at that door because you
It
see
did.
this, right?
So, yeah, there's other steps going up.
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
big wall here, and there was a drain that got clogged, and it just flooded the place up 3 or 4 inches up the wall.
On my radar because this happened to my friend. We had what they call a 100-year storm in this area
Uh-huh.
Tuesday, and the same thing happened with him, and about 2 or 3 inches of water because of a clogged drain. What did you do? Or what did they do to prevent that from happening? Of course,
They had to do a lot of things. The cleaning out the drain for one, French drain. If you know what a French drain is,
sure.
further into the yard, they had to add some rock and some more wall. They had to do a lot to get rid of that.
Is there anything that you can do underneath the door to prevent water from coming in? God forbid something, were to happen.
It's almost impossible to keep.
Figured.
Water will find a way. I mean, it'll squeeze into the smallest places to get
I
in.
I figured that was the answer. I just want to see if I was missing anything. Apparently not.
And
Uh,
anybody who didn't see these today on the podcast, these photos, my home is not on there, but this lower level photos are all on my website.
but yeah, I share your website, Marcia.
MarciaMooreDesign.com. Marcia spelled Marcia Moore. Design does not have an S on the end of it.
Thank you for today. I've learned so much, especially that accessories to me are just as important as everything else.
They certainly are. They are.
Like even this one picture, if you didn't have those plants there, it would be
It would be
missing.
bare.
It would be
Yeah.
missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just and what I've gotten all my plants typically Facebook Marketplace. How bad could they be? People just getting rid of them. Hey, $20, come pick it up.
Yeah.
For that,
Yeah.
even that investment, $20, $40, 50, 60, whatever, what a difference something just that
Yeah.
makes in a room.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing all of this today. Very
You're welcome.
it's like cool walking through and even just checking out and your living space as well.
Yeah, and there's more of that to come little by little.
Yep. All right, we'll catch up next time. Thanks again.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
We will be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.